Now, a report into the property market reveals that black South Africans are still largely excluded from the sector. To unpack this, we're joined by South African Institute of Black Property Owners CEO, Vuyiswa Muchagwane. Good evening, Vuyiswa, and thank you very much for joining us. This report, it doesn't come as a surprise, does it?
No, unfortunately not. We had access to preliminary reports, and this is the final report that's been released. And unfortunately, the results are still as we had suspected. There have been minimal gains in terms of transformation of the listed sector specifically, but the sector as a whole, we are still lagging behind on ownership, on management control, on employment equity, and I think it's safe to say that transformation is stalled.
Where lies the problem in your analysis? Is it resistance? From the industry? Is it lack of, government trying to help, in particular, black property, the black property owners? Where lies the problem?
I believe the solution, rather than the problem, lies in a number of areas. There certainly is a responsibility on government to create an enabling environment for new entrants, particularly black new entrants, to be able to access the sector. And, they can do that by leveraging procurement budgets. They can do that by ensuring that their leases are owned by black-owned companies. And the municipalities also have a role to play in ensuring that, as and when they grant development rights for commercial developments, that they are transformative in their thinking. But, it doesn't fall solely on government. Private sector absolutely has a role to play. And as we've seen in many of the other sectors, the charters can only go so far. At some point, we need to start talking implementation. We need to start talking programs.
Well, in your website, you say you boast actually of having strong relationships with both the government and the business community. So the question then is, you are in a much better place to actually know why this is not happening. Why is government not ensuring that leases go to, to the black property industry?
Well, for many years, we have advocated for exactly that.
Why is it not happening?
And, there's a number of things. For example, there have been a number of changes in leadership, at a national level, even at a local government level. So it is often difficult to see continuity when leadership changes. You start a process with one person and it falls apart the next time a new leader comes into play. But certainly, a big role player in our sector is also the financial services sector. There has never really been a discussion across the table with the financial services sector, with the relevant government role players, and with private sector to say, how do we all align our interests and look at the risk factors and look at where we're trying to take this industry, align ourselves and work together. And I think that's the conversation that needs to happen now.
Now, your organization has been in existence for 11 years. You've had 20 conventions.
22
conventions,
years.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, your purpose, you say, is to drive this very transformation.
Yes.
That is the single biggest goal that you've set for yourselves. When you go to yet another convention, or you're about to celebrate another birthday, what will you be saying to your members? Because clearly, whatever it is that you've done in the past 20 years hasn't worked.
No, absolutely. And
so where to from here?
Our organization can only go so far. It really is important for the role players in the industry to be on board with our recommendations. And I believe now we are at an opportune time where not only government, but also private sector is looking and saying inclusive growth is a requirement. It's no longer up for discussion. If we don't do it, the economy will fail. We've seen the results. Job losses are happening everywhere. So I think everybody now is understanding that if we don't pull together and focus on creating new businesses and new listed black originated entities, we are going to have a problem. We need to deliver on the social mandate as well as the commercial mandate, and we need to keep the economy afloat.
Well, I see you've also caught up on the buzzword of the moment, radical economic transformation. That's what your statement says. Tell us how you are going to pursue that.
There are a number of ways. So the property sector, as you know, is both commercial as well as residential. And there are a number of key interventions. At a residential level, we absolutely need to ensure that every single South African, particularly black South Africans who previously marginalized, have access to title deeds. And for that to happen again, we need to all get around the table and discuss how we're going to make that happen. From a commercial perspective, again, we need to have the discussion with the financial services sector. We can only unlock the opportunities if, number one, government avails the opportunities, ensures that no less than 51% of their procurement budget is going to black-owned companies, ensures that their leases, no less than 51%, are going to black-owned companies versus the 5% that it is currently. So this is the type of radicalism we're talking about. And it's not radicalism. It's really where we should be 23 years down the line.
Voiswam Chekwa, thank you very much.
Thank you.
She is, of course, the Institute of Black Property Owners CEO. Business and weather still to come on Newsnight.
Neotel's wholesale and enterprise businesses are changing their name to Liquid Telecom. It's a change that will benefit all their business customers throughout South Africa and Africa. Liquid Telecom, building Africa's digital future.
The Hollard funeral plan now pays up to 75,000 Rand within 24 hours. It also pays an additional 35,000 Rand per child towards their university fees. And if there's a claim for either you or your partner, we'll pay back all benefit premiums paid in.
At Hollard, siyatutuza, because we understand the importance of family and friends coming together for the burial of someone close. We appreciate that you want to provide generously and say your farewells with dignity, and that you need the freedom to mourn without worrying about money. With affordable premiums and many optional benefits, a funeral plan from Hollard makes it all possible. To find out more about the Hollard funeral plan, simply